My favorite half hour of the week. It's the Betting Edge with the Prez. I'm Lawrence Presman, co-founder of WagerTalk Media, owner of, well, every important site in the sports betting industry. WagerTalk.com, the mothership, SportsMemo.com, and of course, the iconic, world-famous, been around since the 50s, GoldSheet.com. I hear Joe talking in the background. I haven't even invited my damn guests in. Oh, well, that's it. This show's already started off bad. Joe Raineri and Rob Vino, it's the prime time show. And Joe, we got to start right now. Why can I see your face? Why?
I have no idea. Can you not see me here? Like, what's going on? Am I not in the video?
Here's what you're not doing, Joe.
Oh, no.
You're not honoring your bet.
Ooh, that bet. Interesting story. It's funny why we bring that up. Mostly because when you actually texted Rob and I last night about the whole mask, the nacho, I couldn't remember what the hell we bet and why exactly I was wearing the mask. What was the bet exactly?
You took New England on the money line. I took Houston on the money line because I was kind and gave you the points. I was to do a show in my bathrobe, you in a Nacho Libre mask.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's funny because I don't remember that.
Well, the great thing about it is I have it on tape.
No. But see, you got to know how to actually roll that tape in order to be able to prove that, Prez. And I'm not trusting you're going to have those skills to find it. So I'm going to sit here right now and say I don't remember that bet.
Yeah. So you're basically going to make me spend the entire show trying to figure out how to play that bet back, huh?
No, I won't do that to the people. Trust me, I didn't make the bet.
Oh, I'll just trust you. Rob Vino, you didn't shave, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it grows quick, buddy. Unlike our cohort there, Drew Martin, mine grows pretty quick, so I have to stay on top of it. Today I let it go.
That's one day?
This is probably 3.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, well, anyway, welcome to the Betting Edge with the Prez. Joe Raineri and Rob Vino. We're doing the primetime games today. We're looking at Oregon versus Utah, Georgia versus LSU, Wisconsin versus Ohio State, Seattle and the Rams, and, well, the sexiest of all primetime games, Eli Manning and the New York Giants against Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, I think Eli's playing this Monday, Joe.
Just terrible.
Are you done shaking your head? Because it's really good TV, just watching you shake your head. Nice backdrop, Joe. Great fake casino behind you. Looking good.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. There's plenty of people back there and they're behind me.
Oh my God, there's people walking. How are you doing that?
Yes. See, we got all sorts of people in the
back.
Wow,
dude, you moved your office so quickly.
I did. I really did, man. I didn't like the window, so I wasn't happy with the outdoor.
Well, anyway, let's okay, there. It's funny, you went to the wrong side at first, and I always do that. No matter how many shows, I will see a spot on my right cheek that needs to be rubbed off, and I hit my left.
Yeah, I get it.
You never get used to it, eh, Joe?
Never know which way I'm turning. Yes, I can't figure out right to left to begin with, so it's a little hard.
Boys, let's get some business underway. I got some incredible promotions for both of you, and I'm going to run them all week. So please feel free to tweet them out. Listeners, if you want to tweet them out, that would be a bonus as well. Rob, I'm going to talk about Joe first because, let's be honest, how many of us put down a 66% NFL season at week 14? Rob, I was asking you.
Oh, sorry.
Not many of us, Prez. I don't know about Tony. If Tony's at that level right
he
now,
is.
or not.
Tony's doing better, but he is Tony Finn. Let's Joe actually has a life. Carmine and I were talking about Tony And Joe, you do some shows with Tony, and you can attest to this. I am not kidding you when I tell you that Tony sleeps at his desk, if he sleeps at all. Tony could go 3 days without sleep. It's why he looks so bloody disheveled all the time. He's putting in about 18 hours a day of work. It's actually frightening. And I don't expect Joe to be doing better than that because, well, frankly, Joe's probably getting laid and having some semblance of a life. Would you like to add to that, Joe?
True, Joe.
Yeah, smell the finger?
I'm just saying, yes, you're absolutely correct. I got to remind myself sometimes. But yeah, no, we none of us in our own right have any life. It just depends on how much effort and time we put in there. And I know Rob does. I know I do. We love this, man. We thrive on it. It's Finn, he really has no life. But Rob and I, we love it. That's why we do.
Yeah, it's funny. Tony literally just texted me right now. Sorry, just got done with the NBA tip-off, lost track of time. I have 1 hour to sleep before I got to go to the studio. Yeah, so back to Joe's promotion. Joe, you're 66% in NFL this season, which I got to tell you is mind-flooring. It's so unbelievable. Just congratulations to you, dude. You're 56% in college football, but you're up over 30 units of profit in college football on the year. Brother, you are up 90% return in college football and NFL this season. And it's your first year handicapping with us. A real privilege for us to have you as part of our family. Your college football and NFL season until the Super Bowl is $409. I took $150 off of that price. So I think that adds up to $249. The promo code at sportsmemo.com is Joe NFL CFB. Joe NFL CFB. Oh, look. Rob, this guy just keeps showing me up.
It's got nice stuff.
I just don't want people, so they know when they go, that's what they're looking at. So you'll find Rob and I there, man.
Yeah, and as you can see on the right side, there's a login or a sign up. Just buy Joe's package, and then it'll ask for a coupon code. Use the coupon code Joe NFL CFB. Boys, let's get straight to this, man. College football, we're going to, it's a big weekend, obviously. There's so much going on. I mean, the line makers think Georgia's going to lose. That's going to open up a spot. You're going to have, Alabama's obviously out, but you're going to have Utah and Oklahoma fighting for that spot. And we're going to talk about the Utah game right off the bat. They are minus 6.5 against Oregon with a total of 46. I think the Utes can beat any team on any given Saturday. I obviously don't think they're the best team in the country, but I believe they deserve the right to have a shot at being the best team in the country. They have to win this game first, and I think they do, and I think style points are going to be very important. Rob Vino, I'll go to you first. I like Utah minus the 6.5 here.
Well, I think it's a little overpriced, Prez, so I'll start there for value.
It's 2 points overpriced from my numbers. My numbers say Utah minus 4.5. But, Rob, before we get into that concept, the listeners really need to understand that although we have lost a lot of value from 4.5 to 6.5, we've only crossed one important number, which is 6. And the percentage difference of cashing a bet between 4.5 and 6.5 is very, very small. Once we get over that 7 number, it becomes unbettable from a value perspective. Sorry, Rob, I hand it back to you.
No doubt about it, Prez. Got to educate those who don't understand the value of these points. And you know what? In these championship games, sometimes they just get out of hand, and the team that's behind lets it go. So, there's a number of times where value doesn't even apply, but we like to make note of it. I happen to have made this game -4 myself. I looked for a game between these two last year because they didn't play this year. Last year, Utah wins this game in Utah. 32-25, 4.5-point favorite. Tyler Huntley, the quarterback for Utah, didn't even play in that game. They had Jason Shelley start because Huntley was hurt, and they still beat Oregon by 7 points. But the great equalizer here, guys, is going to be this weather, which is going to be 100% chance of rain all throughout the game. 18 to 20 mile per hour winds. I don't know what the gusts will reach up to, but it could affect the passing game on both sides. This is a grass field. This Levi Stadium has had issues ever since they built this place. This grass field has been one that's been shredded, replaced, shredded again, replaced. So I don't know what the footing is going to be like here. But again, it could end up being the great equalizer here because both of these teams love to run the football. That's what they're predicated on. Utah a little bit more than Oregon. A lot's made of Utah's defensive front against the run especially. But, guys, Oregon's played Auburn. They played California. They played Washington, 3 very good offensive fronts. Pretty successful against Cal and Washington, not as against the Auburn Tigers. So I don't. It's not something that they haven't seen. It's going to come down to a little bit of a mental factor with Utah. They have redemption for last year's championship game where they lost to Washington 10-3. Sure, they want to get this one. But the field, to me, once again, makes this really, really hard to handicap because we're talking about turnovers in this game with this bad footing, with this ball handling. Justin Herbert unable to throw the football affects Oregon a little bit more. I still think the dog plus 6 points might be the right side, but I'm very leery of this game overall, guys. The under's been bet pretty hard as well, rightfully so.
Joe, before you get into that, all of a sudden my sound, Rob just went great resonance, great bass. Now I'm having the same thing going on in my head. Did you do anything?
Did that brownie kick in? Was that?
No, it's gummies.
No. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure because maybe that's usually you start to hear a thing a little crisper. Everything starts to get a little more bottom. It's nice.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and so's mouth went on gummies. But that's a whole different story. So to summarize, no, not your mouth, Joe.
No, I was a little cotton mouth. But
that of a female.
Bobbing for apples? Are we bobbing for apples again?
Speaking of the fat chick. Joe, what do you like in this game, bro?
Listen to me. I think this is this game to me is all about the total. It was anyway when it first opened up. I still think there's value in the total, and I do think, to your point, Prez, and to what Rob was saying, guys, you got to understand here. We've had now for the last 14 weeks 50 plus college football games to bet on every Saturday. And we've got 1 on Friday and 9 on Saturday now, which means the market is going to be flooded with recreational bettors, first-time bettors that are just going to be like, you know what, the heck, let me throw a couple of bucks down. It's the only game on. You're going to have people that, quite honestly, are going to be allowing us as pros here, the professional bettors, to go real contrarian this weekend and to have plenty of value on some of these underdogs that are going to be on the card because of the heavy volume of betting from recreational bettors, because there's not 50 plus games. We've got 10, 1 on Friday, 9 on Saturday. Now, having said that, I don't like Oregon, so we're not going to go there, but we are going to go. Even at 47 and a half right now, I still think there's value in the under. This field is atrocious. Levi Stadium, they had to fly a whole damn new field in for the national championship game a couple of years. They ain't doing that for the Pac-12 championship. I can tell you that right now. It's been raining since Sunday. It's going to rain every day leading up to this game. And quite honestly, guys, how motivated is Justin Herbert here in the slop, in the rain? Is slow-tempoed Mario Cristobal. It is not the days of Chip Kelly, guys. This is not a high up-tempo octane. Let's run 103 plays a game. They're slow, they're methodical, and Herbert's going to go in the top 3 in this draft. And how much is he going to risk to beat Utah for what? A trip to the Rose Bowl? Or to me, this is a grind-em-out game. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be running. It's going to be. I think the first one to 20, I think, is going to win this game. So I do think there's plenty of value still available on the under in this. It's going to be ugly, and it's going to be run by the defenses on both of these teams. It's just Utah's more physical. Oregon's not as physical. Utah's going to punch them in the mouth, and they're going to control the clock and the tempo. So I do expect Zach Moss and company to take advantage of this game and not only win it, but the under is definitely, I think, the play.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, listen, it's tough to bet Utah if you're thinking the under is so strong. You really just don't have a big enough window there.
No, I'd money line them. I'd use them in any sort of money line that you're going to do.
Take a 6-point teaser, with
exactly.
Throw some NFL games in or whatnot. Yep. But look, I like both your takes, and obviously I don't agree, Rob. I think Oregon is not going to. They're not going to take the. I mean, Utah. This is the Super Bowl game for Utah. I mean, this is probably the biggest game in the history of that college, university, whatever the hell they're called. Up in Canada, we call most of these places universities. And I think they're going to show up. One tough loss against USC. It's funny. We would not be talking about Utah needing to win this game tomorrow if they had Clemson's schedule.
No.
And we wouldn't be talking about Clemson going to the the playoffs if they had, say, Georgia's schedule. Just so strange the way this all works in college football. Anyway, I went to see a Raptor game last night, a live game.
Oh, you did? You watched my Heat kick your ass. That's
nice. They didn't kick my ass, Joe. I probably would have enjoyed it a hell of a lot more if they did. There's not many things worse than watching a basketball game live. It's truly painful. I mean, I don't get it. There's no flow to the game. I'm with my girlfriend and her two boys, 9 and 11, and they're like all excited. I mean, the tip-off was so dramatic. We won the tip-off. The Raptor crowd erupted. I'm thinking to myself, just wake me in the fourth quarter, man. Like, where's a bed? I mean, seriously? We hit a three-pointer at like the 10-minute mark of the first quarter, and the place is having orgasms. Are you kidding? Mm-hmm. There's only another 120 of these stupid things coming still. And
that last 60 seconds before it went to overtime, it felt like it took a half hour.
Dude.
There were reviews. There was this. There was like, it's 60 seconds. Can we get this thing over? So it felt like that game went for 4 days yesterday. It really did.
I was dying, man. I left there at close. I honestly left there at like 10:30. I mean, it was like 3 hours of hell. I mean, you want to know how bad I wanted to leave, Joe? You watched the game. Miami had a shot to win it with 9 seconds on the clock. I was praying they hit that shot.
Come on, Jimmy.
I was like,
come on, Jimmy.
Please, Mr. Butler, do not put me through another 5 minutes of complete boredom. I mean, and these people are like buy season tickets to this shit.
Mm-hmm. It's correct.
It's the same blood. Not only is every basketball game, give or take, the same, but every damn play is the same. I mean, you have 24 seconds to march down the court and do something, and then you have 24 seconds, and let me guess, you're going to run a pick and roll. It's going to look like bedlam from the stands. I mean, at least on TV, you can see space. So from when you're watching in the stadium, it just looks like 10 really large guys standing around a ball. Oh my God! You can't.
At least there's people in the stadium, though. There's nothing worse going to a basketball game. There's 8,000 people in a building. It's like, oh God.
Well, I mean,
Is it worse than a football game, Rob? Is there anything worse than a football game?
Actually, it's funny you ask that, Rob. Oh. I've been to one football game live in my whole life, and it was at Joe Robbie Stadium. I don't know if it's still called that anymore.
Wow.
Terrible story. Me and 4 buddies we were about 20 years old, and we snuck a quarter ounce of hash over the border. So we had our hashish all set up for the entire trip. Second day we're there, we go to the Miami Dolphins game, and we left the hash on the bus. Yeah, we were sober the rest of the trip. But Joe, it's funny you mentioned that about football, because I hated it. I hated being at the game. I hated you really felt the time between all the plays, just felt so long. Everybody looked like ants. So yeah, no, I hated that. But basketball, oh my God.
TV has ruined it, Rob. I mean, it really has. It's ruined it with all the timeouts and everything and commercials and this and that. There's no flow to any of these games. It's amazing.
Well, at least soccer still gets it right. They put the bloody commercial on the left side of the screen while they keep playing.
And the clock keeps rolling. Great point, Prez. Great point.
Why, thank you, my friend.
Absolutely great point. Yep, because that clock never stops, ever. It's fantastic.
LSU boys, -7 against Georgia. Absolute massive game for Georgia. LSU loses this game in a close game. They're through no matter what. Georgia loses this game and they could play Alabama on a golf course because no one will care. I just, Rob, I'll go to you first. I just don't know if Georgia can keep up with this LSU offense. We haven't seen an LSU offense like this from any team in a long time. I mean, when you go into Alabama and put up 700 points or host Alabama, when you play Alabama and put up 700 points, you're doing something right. I grant you that the LSU defense is not as good as their offense, but Georgia's very inconsistent. Even within a game, they're inconsistent. I can't count on Georgia being able to keep pace with this team. With that said, I have to likely pass on this game. Rob?
Yeah, I like the LSU side, Prez. I really do. And I think that the matchup suits them. I know that the number has gone up to 7. I think we saw some 7.5s yesterday, came back to 7. Guys scooped up that half a point. But the way this thing matches up, you have to beat LSU by throwing on them. You're not going to beat LSU by running the football. I know that lots made of their defense this year. Oh, their defense isn't that great. But how about these numbers? 3 weeks ago, they gave up 402 rushing yards to Ole Miss. LSU did. But I think that's more of a mirage. It doesn't apply here. 210 of those 400 yards were by the quarterback, John Rice Plumlee. An option quarterback. LSU didn't seem ready for that option style. He chewed them up. The last time I saw Jake Fromm run the option was never. It's not going to happen in this game. Jake Fromm, purely a pocket passer. Georgia wants to run the football to beat you. If you take away that game by Ole Miss and those 402 yards rushing, LSU allows 99.3 rushing yards a game. They don't give it up. Auburn got 130 on them. Alabama got 123 on them. A&M 72. Florida 146. Nobody runs on these guys for the types of numbers that Georgia needs to win this game. Now, if you have to pass to beat them, Georgia's wide receiving core is a real concern here. Their best wide receiver, Lawrence Cager, gets hurt a couple weeks ago, out for the season. Their next best wide receiver out for the first half because of a suspension. So they're down to a true freshman and a backup junior. They've got issues here and moving the football, and they haven't moved the football great anyway. I mean, their last 5 games against SEC teams, they've only had one game out of those 5 where they got over 270 total yards. This is an 11-1 team that can't gain over 270 yards against an SEC opponent. So I think they've got issues. LSU on the other side, they got over 500 yards. Prez, you talked about Alabama, but how about they did it against Auburn? They did it against Florida. They did it against A&M. Everybody who they take on. And if you just use a couple of common opponents here, against the Auburn Tigers, LSU was plus 221 in total yardage. Georgia minus 78 in their game against Auburn. Against A&M, LSU plus 384, Georgia minus 16. I just think, this matchup doesn't work for Georgia. I know Kirby Smart's a good coach. I know they play good defense, but Joe Burrow has been money all season long with this team, and there's no let up on the gas pedal for them, so I'll look at LSU minus the points.
Yeah, and that's where I lean as well. Handsome special Joe Raineri with those baby blues.
Yes.
Regale us with your thoughts, you good-looking stud.
Yes, thank you, Prez. And, we started off talking about how this is such a unique weekend because of all of the recreational bettors and the recreational money that'll be flooding the market. And, guys, prime example number one, Exhibit A. There is no way in this world LSU should be 7 to 7.5 point favorites over Georgia. It's completely overvalued. And you don't have to look much further than what Kirby Smart's record is as an underdog here at Georgia. 6-2, by the way, to the number. Georgia's all about defense. While we were a little bit miffed that their offense wasn't as good as we thought they were going to be. They just dropped a pretty nice number there on Georgia Tech last week. Actually, one of the best offensive showings we'd seen from them all year. But it's the defense, to me, certainly in these spots, that will win championships. I don't trust LSU's defense at all. I certainly trust the athletes that Georgia has. Kirby Smart, defensive-minded guy. He's got the number 2 scoring defense in the country, 10.4 points per game. He's got the 15th ranked pass defense, only allowing 186 yards per game. They are way more balanced on both sides of the ball, I think, than LSU. LSU is Joe Burrow in offense, and hopefully we can, hold our ass and score enough points when it's all said and done. I don't think you're going to be able to do that in this game against this Georgia defense. I think they show up. I think they show out. This has got field goal or, down to last possession written all over it. There's just way too much value on Georgia in this spot. Nobody's talking about him because everyone's been talking about, Joe Burrow this and Joe Burrow. That's fine. But Georgia's going to show up for this game, and they're going to show up defensively. And what happens when LSU gets smacked in the mouth and they can't outscore their way? Let's see what happens in a street fight, because that's what this is going to be. Give me the points. Give me Georgia.
Joe, do you think Georgia could win this game outright? I mean, it's a great money.
Absolutely. Well, if you're not putting a little something on the money line in here, you guys are crazy. These two teams are not as far apart as the numbers or the betting. And it's only going to get worse, because I can tell you right now, the betting public loves their favorites, guys. They're going to hammer Joe Burrow. They're going to hammer LSU. This number's going to get worse, and it's going to create even better opportunities for us if you want to back the underdog here.
So, Joe, I mean, really, based on the stories you've told me, if you put $100 on Georgia on the money line and they win, you can hire a hooker in Vegas for 20 minutes.
She's already hired, but it would help. Yes, it would help get a second.
Okay, there you go. Wisconsin versus Ohio State. Man, I think Ohio State could be the best team in the country. I mean, I think they're better than LSU. I think they're more. They're just better on from a defensive perspective, which is what you were talking about. I don't want to take all these points, man. Like minus 16.5 over and under 56. Rob, I obviously think Ohio State's going to win the game. Can they cover? The problem here, and it's similar to that Clemson Virginia game, which we're not going to discuss, is Ohio State covers 16.5 if they want to, and they don't cover 16.5 if they don't want to. And I don't know which side to go on, because nobody at Ohio State called the Prez and said, hey, we want to.
Yeah, you know what, Prez? And we have recent history to lean on here. That's what makes it even tougher to take Wisconsin. And I know games can change. And maybe Jim Leonard, the defensive coordinator, has come up with an answer for Ohio State. But the first game was played in steady rain, all 4 quarters. Ohio State opened up that game and punted 3 straight times. Then they scored on 6 of their next 7 possessions. 38 points, game over, finished business. I don't know that you can straighten that out. Once Ohio State figured that Wisconsin defense out, it was all downhill from there in bad weather for them. Conversely, for the Wisconsin Badgers in that game, they had 10 drives. Only one of those drives totaled over 30 yards. That's the best they could do. Was, I think, 46 yards was their longest drive of that game. 9 of those 10 ended in punts, turnovers, or a kneel down to end the half. Just got nothing going. To your point about the Ohio State defense being incredibly good this year, they stifled that team. They held Wisconsin season lows, 12 offensive categories. Now, when you see a game like that played, and I granted it was on Ohio State's home field, and this is on a neutral site. I get it. But it's real difficult when you're winning by 31 points to say, here's 15.5, go ahead and take them. I'm not sure. Like I say, maybe Jim Leonard can come up with something. He's a good defensive coordinator. Maybe Joe Rudolph, the offensive coordinator, can come up with something. But I'm just not sure. Ohio State's won 11 of their 12 games by 24 or more. The only time they didn't was against Penn State. They won by 11, 28-17. And in that game, you know, Ohio State got 417 total yards, but they committed 3 turnovers. That's what it takes to keep them close. Michigan cracks in the pass defense last week. They threw for 305 yards, but they couldn't keep pace, and they completed 42% of their passes. So it's hard to recommend Wisconsin. I see the number total-wise, guys, going sky high, 52 all the way to 56.5 now. So I think people just feel like Ohio State's going to score as much as they want to score.
35,
maybe,
40
Wisconsin
points.
attack on some garbage. Right? I mean, the last time these two met, it was the Cardale Jones game, 59-0 Ohio State in a Big Ten championship.
Joe, before we get into your thoughts on this game, I just want to make mention again, guys, $249 for the rest of Joe Raineri's NFL and college football season. That's only $249. Head over to Sports Memo and use the promo code Joe NFLCFB as well. Rob, 58% in college football since week 2, which is amazing. Unbelievable start to the NBA season, 58%. Dude, this is the best offer I've given out on this show in a long time. It's $349 for your month of all plays. I lowered it to $199. I'm going to keep that for 3 more till Friday, and then you will never get $199 for a month of Rob Vino again. Head over to sportsmemo.com. Use the promo code VINO199. That's VINO199. It's like the wine, but an E instead of an I. Mm-hmm. You Italian, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You Italian, Joe?
Sicilian.
What does that mean to me? Is that a no?
No wonder we get
Is
along.
that a no then? I mean, like, I didn't ask where the hell from in Italy. Like, am I to assume that all Sicilians are not Italians?
No, Italians will understand. Yes. I am Italian, Italian, and I love mozzarella. Yes.
Yeah, your name should be Joe Vino.
Joey Bag of
Yeah,
Vino.
dude. I mean, aren't all Italians supposed to have rhymes in their names? Like, isn't it Joe the Schmo or Tony Zamboni? Yep. Reno Zambino.
Everyone's got a nickname, man.
Well,
that.
They should have named you Reno, Rob. Reno Vino. I don't think it would get better than that.
Yeah, my parents didn't have that sense of humor, guys. They stuck with naming me after my dad, Robert.
What did you name? What did you name your eldest son?
My oldest son was named after both of his grandfathers, Nicholas Joseph.
There you go.
Which is really Italian, Nicholas Joseph.
Okay, well, sounds like a fine wine. We just had a line move at circa 6.5 on LSU. Literally.
Joe, you were busy during the break, Joe.
I told you. You don't give me 7 points. Hell no.
Joe, what do you
just talked about a key number, right? That key number is 7? Oh, hell yeah.
Joe, talk to me about this Wisconsin-Ohio State game. You don't have to. We can move to the NFL if you don't want.
No. The problem with this game, and again, this is going to be a problem with a few of these games. First of all, this game's at 8 o'clock at night, guys.
That's way too late. You're asleep by 7.
No, yes, that plus a lot will have been determined prior to this. Keep in mind, Ohio State's in regardless. Okay, the committee already guaranteed that by placing Wisconsin number 8 and Penn State number 10. 2 teams, of course, that have already been beaten by Ohio State. So even if they were to lose to number 8 Wisconsin, there's no way they're falling out of the top 4. So there's nothing really. Seeding doesn't matter in the college football playoff. We've already seen that since they started this thing. It doesn't make a difference. They're in. There's not a whole heck of a lot outside of protecting Justin Fields, who's got a bit of a knee issue here, guys. I think this game gets settled in the first half. I would never play this game full game. I would only play it first half. I would back Ohio State in the first half line. I'd lay the points there. I would also go ahead and look to some team totals here in the first half, because come the second half with a more than 2-score lead, there is nothing to play for here for Ohio State. There's absolutely no reason for them to take any risks. There's no reason for the style points is out the windows, guys. All they need to do is get a win, and they need to get a win and get the hell out of there without any more injuries to their star quarterback. Jonathan Taylor, fantastic. What a career. They have owned his ass his entire career. He has done great against everybody but Ohio State. Chase Young, this offense, they held them, it was 10-0 at half, but that was outside in the weather. This is going to be in the Dome in Indianapolis. It's a fast track. Ohio State's going to get out early. They're going to get out big, and in the second half, they're going to coast, guys. And so if you wanted to play a full game, I would go under, because I think the number's gotten way overinflated. I would hit the under because, again, nothing to play for here, nothing on the line for Ohio State. Very anticlimactic, but I would expect them to come out and make their statement in the first half, Prez.
Rob, I do a lot of shows, 2 a day, plus the college football show and NFL show. I'm on Gabe Morency's show. Can you please tell Gabe I'm retiring from that show, Joe?
Oh, way ahead of you. I already took care of it.
Oh, thank God. It's just like, who the hell wakes up at...
Nobody's called you. Yes.
Who the hell wakes up at 11 a.m.? I mean, that's just... Is it still dark out?
Yeah, it'll live like that, dude.
Yeah, it's absurd. Anyway, but the point I want to make, Rob, and Rob, feel free to wade in here. I got you on my show. You were on yesterday. You're on today. I think you're unbelievable as a guest. I do a ton of work with Dave Koken, and he's phenomenal. Teddy, Marco, Jeff from Oskheim Sports is as good as it gets. Joe, do you have Jeff on any of your shows?
No, but it's we're supposed to do it in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know. He's a lawyer by trade. So I mean, when he delivers his information, it's in narrative form. It's an argument. It's really well laid out. I just want to say for the record, and Rob, with no disrespect, and feel free to wade in here, I actually feel like Joe is the best guest I have on any of my shows. Your sound quality is incredible. The backdrop is perfect. You're handsome as shit. And I mean, dude, I am...
Selling it, huh?
Dude,
selling it?
Yeah, you are...
My ass is getting a little moist here. But
you are as impressive as the fat chick bobbing for apples.
And she is impressive, guys. That chick's got skills. Let's be reasonable here.
Yeah, now we're calling girls chicks. I see us on TMZ later tonight. Breaking news: the betting edge called women chicks.
Chicks, yeah.
Oh my God, Rob, what do you think? Do you agree? How good is Joe?
Come on,
we
Rob.
love Joe.
Come on,
we
Rob.
absolutely love Joe.
Yeah,
he's good on all counts. Not only the handicapping knowledge, but the little side comedy. I mean, he's got a very
and he dresses well.
Yeah,
delivery, guys. It's all in the delivery.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to need a little powder here because my ass is getting real wet here. So yes,
guest, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Analyst, host, anyway.
Listen, bottom line is profiting, guys. That's what we want to do. We want to get winners here. Have a few laughs along the lines, but collectively, there's a lot of IQ here in this show right now, minus the host.
Of course, minus the host. Joe, you host the NBA show and the college basketball show. Tell us quickly about it, and then we'll get to the 2 NFL games.
Yep, you can see Rob there, obviously, all time. The NBA tip-off show gets posted right around 3:30, Monday through Friday there at WagerTalk TV on YouTube. Also, make sure that you're obviously tailing on Twitter at WagerTalk. And Ralph Michaels and I do the happy hour show there, getting you ready for everything in college basketball that gets posted right around 2 o'clock Eastern time each and every day. So that's a lot of basketball knowledge with a whole lot of the very best handicappers between Sports Memo and WagerTalk Monday through Friday with college hoops and the NBA, guys. You don't want to miss it.
And Ralph is truly a god. I mean, you listen to...
He's a machine.
Dude, I do the NFL presidential address with Ralph every week. I used to talk a lot during that show. Now it's just like an hour of learning.
He is it's kind of like robotic there, isn't it, Rod? Like the stats and figures, that the trends, the guy, nobody does TNA like Ralph Michaels.
Yeah, there you go. Guys, head over to sportsmemo.com. Use the promo code VINO199. That's a month of Rob Vino for $199.
Get it.
Seattle, the Rams, we had a line move overnight. Seattle was -1 across the board, Rob. Now it's pretty much a pick-em. I mean, you can still get that -1 at places. 47 is the total. The Rams are playing for their season. They lose, and I think they're out, regardless of how McDermott spins it. I think the Rams' defense is what's going to carry them here. With that said, Seattle as a road team is unbelievable. Bill Carroll is as good as it gets. Russell Wilson is playing absolutely lights-out football. I really want to bet this game. I want to watch this game. I can't come up with a damn thing. Rob?
Yeah, there's a ton of conflicting arguments here, Prez. If you stood on both sides of the fence, I mean, we could argue back and forth, and all the arguments would be legit. The Rams have a little bit of revenge here. They blow a 44-yard field goal with 15 seconds left in the first meeting that would have won the contest. But again, it's outdoors in Seattle. That's a tough kick. Didn't make it. They lose. The fact about them playing for their season is true. The playoff implications overall in this game for both sides are huge. Because remember, Seattle's tied 10-2, top of the division with San Francisco. Seattle happens to be 3-0 inside that NFC West. And if they tie with San Francisco at the end of the year, of course, after the head-to-head, the divisional tiebreaker comes into play. So big for both of these teams to win. The Rams sit one game outside of the 6th seed right now. So we're going to get 100% effort. This isn't going to be one of those games where we get a lackadaisical effort out of either side here. The first game, the Rams really got pass heavy, guys. 49 passes, only 18 runs. Meanwhile, Seattle was the opposite. They were able to run the ball twice as much as they threw it. And, the Rams weren't in chase mode. They didn't pass that often because they were chasing. That game was close the entire way, and they had all their weapons just like they will here. I think maybe the Seattle short work week comes into play. They get off of that Minnesota game on Monday night where Minnesota almost made the comeback, so they exerted themselves at the end. I just think that, I look towards the total in this one, guys, immediately because the side was a little bit too tough to come up with. But even there, you have conflicting arguments. The Rams are 6-1 under in their last 7, while Seattle's been pouring on points. I think 8 of 12 Seahawks games have scored more than 47, which is what we're looking at. So difficult game. We'll see if there's some line movement that could, force a play, or maybe, in-game stuff in this contest might even be the best way to go.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. The conflicting trends and whatnot, it's just too much. And, I feel like this game is going to go under, but in the same regard, the Rams defense is one of the best in football. Joe, fill us in.
I'm with Rob here. That was one of the first things I looked at was the total as well. And the record is the record, guys. I mean, nobody's been more profitable since coming into the league 2012 than Russell Wilson. The Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll era has been absolute printing money for people who have backed them.
On the road.
On the road. And recently, it's ridiculous. They've had over the years one of the best home field advantages.
Not in the last 2 years.
Over since 2012 that they've come in there, they have historically been crazy.
Yes.
And they're on the road now. It's ridiculous. Russell Wilson is, especially in the Eastern time zone, has been one of the best, if not with the most profitable quarterback coming west to east. We've always heard that too. But he's going to L.A., and I think the best thing to happen to L.A. was that they had a chance to get right and beat up and get some confidence back instilled in Jared Goff. They look like they're guys now, the Robert Woods and the Cooper Kupps and Cook. They got everybody healthy.
And Gurley is healthier.
Exact. And listen, they bubble wrapped him the whole season. Well, what the hell are you waiting for? If you're going to unload him, now's the time to unleash him and take the bubble wrap off. This is going to be a tough game for Seattle because of the short week. They're in their own battle. While the Rams are trying to keep pace and keep alive to that number 6 seed over there, Seattle's got to keep pace with the 49ers, whose schedule, guys, is absolutely brutal down the stretch. So would it surprise me at all if the Rams bounce back here and won this? Absolutely not. The first was a dog fight, a little high scoring. I don't see it as high scoring this time around in week 14. But I got to tell you, I think there's some value here on the home underdog here with the Rams. I might go ahead and throw it down on the money line there and back the Rams in this one.
Oh, you bold man. Taking a pick'em game on the money line. Wow.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us what kind of brilliant strategy that is, you know?
Well, those that might be tuning in and have no idea what the hell the difference between a +1 or a pick'em is, the money line is where you need to look. What is the number on the money line,
It's
by the way?
It's a pick'em, Joe. A pick'em. The game is a pick'em. It's already on the money line.
Not a pick'em. Not a pick'em.
It's
not a pick'em here.
Okay.
I got 6 books here that say it's not a pick'em.
Well,
unless, of course, we're only using the world of Circa. Is that it? Is that the only sports book now?
No, dude. You want to know? I'll tell you right now. Circa pick'em, Westgate pick'em, CG, which is like almost every sports book in Vegas, pick'em.
Right.
Win, pick'em. William Hill, pick'em. Heritage, pick'em. Thanks for your brilliant money line thoughts there, Joe.
So, listen, now that you spent all the time talking about 2 West Coast teams and West Coast books, those of us on the East Coast, we do have a little regional bias going on. Don't you think there where you are? What do you think?
I'm on the East Coast.
No, I know that. But
and Joe, this show is
time over there.
Joe, this show is dude. I got to stop you. I woke up at 11:30 today. It's 4:30. I got a nap, dude. We got to get the show over with.
2.5, by the way, is where I'm seeing it right now in some places. 2.5.
What the hell? That's not possible.
Seattle. 2.5.
No chance. Tweet that out. Tag me in it.
I will.
Okay.
A lot of ones, too, still for Seattle, by the way.
So, Rob, the New York Giants are +9.5 going into Philadelphia for Joe's secret book. They're +14, but he has these secret books that nobody knows about. So we're going to use the 9.5 number. There are a couple of 9s on the board. Total of 46. I'm told Eli Manning is going to play. I mean, Philadelphia's playing for their season. They can't lose this game, and they won't lose this game. I can't take Philadelphia -9.5. This team, it looks terrible. I can't take the Giants. They might not even get on the bus and show up in Philadelphia. Just go, Rob. Give me some shit.
Yeah, because I mean, if Philadelphia couldn't beat Miami last week in a game where they already knew that the Cowboys lost on Thanksgiving and they could have tied for the division lead, I mean, you can't trust this team whatsoever. Who gives up 37 to the Dolphins except for the Eagles? Defensively, guys, a lot was made of their secondary pieces coming back a couple of weeks ago. They're healthy in the secondary now. Things are going to change on defense. If they don't get pass rush, which they got in the first quarter of that Dolphin game, if they don't get it, which they didn't get it the last 3 quarters, they get torched. I don't care if it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't care if it's Eli Manning. Eli Manning will have Evan Ingram back for this game to help that wide receiving core. They have Saquon Barkley out of the backfield. They'll find ways to score points. I wouldn't play this game either side, Prez. I think you hit it on the head. You can't trust either one of them. But if the rain isn't heavy on Monday, and we're a long way out.
Yeah.
We're talking on Wednesday. This game's on Monday. It looks like the projected forecast is mid-50s and some light rain. Regardless, I would play this game over.
I agree.
Philadelphia can move the ball against that god-awful Giant defense. I think Eli coming back in a return here will perform pretty well. Good enough. I mean, like I say, last week Miami lit them up for 37. So for me, it's kind of a no-brainer, mechanical play. I'll look it over the number here, Giants at Philadelphia.
Yeah, and you know what? If you listen to the NFL presidential address with me and Ralph Michaels, a great show, by the way, you guys should check it out. I said the only play in this game could possibly be the over. Joe, you're over on every one of our videos. I mean, you literally live the life of just getting over. So fill us in.
Yeah, exactly. First, I'd like to show, though, the actual latest lines on the previous game we talked about, where it says 12-4, which would be, that's today. And look at that, the Rams -3. Oh, look at that, that's an actual sports. Look at that, it's a sports book.
Yeah, I don't have my
-3.
similar to your bet that you won't honor. I'm not wearing my old man glasses.
Okay,
so I can't read that screen, Joe.
Not a problem there. Rob, take my word for it, -3 there, and some books here around the world.
Yeah, it's just not true.
I would not go near this game. There are games, and then there is this game. I think Eli Manning is more dangerous in this game than he was to start the year. The dude has been sitting on the sideline wearing a pair of juicy sweatpants now for 2 months, the entire season. He's been sitting there drowning his sorrows, eating like tubs of Haagen-Dazs ice cream. He's been a mess. Now, all of a sudden, he's got to put a helmet on. He's got to fit back into his uniform, and he's got to go out and play with absolutely nothing to lose here. Nothing to lose.
And he's playing for a contract, Joe. I don't think he wants to retire.
Does he, though? Is he at that point? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm wondering where the whole boot thing came from, Daniel Jones. If I'm the Giants, I don't want to win another game, period. I don't want Barkley playing, Ingram playing, Jones playing. I want the number 2 pick in the draft. That's what I want. I want Chase Young. I want the number 2 pick in the draft. So I don't win a game. And Eli, who's he throwing to? Nothing's changed here. I don't know that it's as big a swing as it is between Daniel Jones. I don't know that much worse. I mean, what is it, a 2-point swing now in some places?
Well, why don't you just make up a line, Joe? You seem to do that anyway.
Well, no, I actually have the fact. I can actually pull it up for real here, but I don't have to just throw out. It's a pick 'em. But I will say this: Philadelphia, I trust this much. I actually trust Eli more than I trust the Philadelphia Eagles and Carson Wentz. There's issues there, guys. There's big issues in Philadelphia. I don't trust Carson Wentz at all. And they're a dangerous team. If I can get double digits, 10.5, I would definitely lean to backing the Giants and Eli with nothing to lose, and Carson Wentz, who seems to throw up all over himself in big moments lately.
Well, I mean, Joe, I don't see why you can't get 10.5. You seem to make lines up, so just get your 10.5.
Let me just go ahead and see. Oh, look at that.
I don't see that. Where is this -3? There, 3.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Right under the circa, which is the total of 48. Yeah, look at that.
What book is that?
Yeah, that would be an offshore, my friend. That would be an offshore.
Yeah, where? Carib.
Offshore.
Everything is offshore, Joe. Like there's not one single thing on the planet that is not offshore.
When it's not onshore.
What is it? Floating in the water on a log?
Rob, do I need to get geographical here? Should I bust out a globe? Tell me what you want me to do here, Rob.
Bust out a globe.
I see the people behind you, Joe, rushing to go get that number. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone's gone. They're racing to get 3 for the Rams. Guys, that's the show. A real privilege to do this with both of you. I'm such massive fans of your work. Rob Vino, one of the best handicappers on the planet for like a decade. Joe Raineri, a man that is better than Jim Rome but doesn't have as much luck.
I got a logo for this show. Tell me what you guys think.
Burning garbage.
Yep, pretty much a dumpster fire.
God, I'm offended, Joe.
Okay, I just want to end the show. I'll give out the promo codes again. Make sure to tweet them out. I can't believe the show lasted an hour. Oh my God.
Oh, this is terrible.
Vino 199, a month of Rob Vino for $199. Vino 199, and as well Joe Raineri, 66% in NFL, 90% profit in both footballs. $150 off of his package, his college football and NFL season. Joe NFL CFB. Joe, I'm just going to say for the record, and I'll end it here, I'm extremely disappointed that you would actually make a mano bet with me and not honor it. I would have done the show in a bathrobe. I always honor my bets. As the man who pays your checks, I will be deducting. See, checks? I will be deducting some money for you to not be a man. You obviously only have one ball instead of two, so I think I'm only going to pay you half price this month. And on that note, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Joe Raineri, Rob Vino, I'm the Prez. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Make sure to comment and share and like and do all those things that us old men don't understand. I think I'm just going to run this now. I'm just going to run it.
God, stop it.
It's still running.
Oh, my God.
Fucking
That is hysterical.
Oh, God.
I think I'm going to say goodbye now. Ciao, guys.
Goodbye now.
All right, guys. Take care.